Good evening, Arkansas, and a very happy Tuesday to everybody out there around the natural state. Hopefully y'all have had a great week so far, and at last but not least, we're finally talking about active weather across the natural state. It's not much, but it's something.
Yeah, it's honest work. So this is what we got at this point here. So we got a lot to talk about. So if you guys can do me a big favor at this time here, tag your friends, tag your family in this live stream. That way they're not caught off guard for tomorrow. We got severe weather we got to talk about. We're going to talk to you guys about this upcoming weekend, your Saturday, Sunday time frame. Much colder air coming in as we get towards next week. So we got a lot to talk about in this live stream. So make sure you tag your family and friends so that way they're not missing anything at this current time here. So first off, we're going to talk about the tropics here. As soon as we think we're done with the tropics, we had Ian, major hurricane Ian going through Florida. We've got Tropical Storm Carl now in the Bay of Campeche down here in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. Current wind sitting about, I think, what was it, 40 miles per hour earlier on. Here's the tracker, so I'm going to stop the infrared for just a bit. And why are we talking about this system if it's not going to impact us here in the natural state? Well, this system is going to bring the moisture into Arkansas for the Saturday and Sunday's event as you get another cold front coming in. So this system is going to eventually go into the Gulf of Mexico. Well, it's in the Gulf now. It's going to eventually go into Mexico, and then it's going to die off. But its moisture is still going to be remnant across the area, and that's going to get sent north as you get towards your day on Saturday here. So something that we're going to keep an eye on here. Should pose no risk to the general United States at all. It should be a Mexico system. As you can see, the tropical storm warnings for the Mexico coast here. Nothing for South Texas or anything like that. But the moisture supply from this system is going to make its way into Arkansas as we get towards this weekend here. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk to you guys about the severe weather threat here. Now, this severe threat has shifted a little bit. Western Arkansas, you've been kind of trimmed down. Now, I know someone's going to tune in. They're going to see this. They live in Western Arkansas, and they're going to immediately think, that's going to happen. Don't even worry about it. I do think you guys will see some thunderstorms first thing tomorrow morning over there, okay? However, the bigger severe threat will be across central and eastern Arkansas here. Go ahead there.
So the biggest thing with this front, obviously, if you noticed, we've had a really a remarkable increase in moisture over the last really 12 to 24 hours. That's one key ingredient that we've really not had a lot of as of late. And you have a very strong front that is currently moving south into the state over the next 12 to 24 hours. And basically, what that's going to do is set up a potential for at least some scattered showers and storms around the state. Now, the biggest question is going to be how much instability do we get? How much shear will there be, and how much fuel will there be for storms? There is a morning round that we are going to be watching, and what this morning round could do across parts of northern Arkansas is send an outflow boundary out. And this is our concern, is that as it sends the outflow out, that outflow boundary will interact with untapped atmosphere across parts of central and southern and eastern Arkansas. And that's where we think we may could see the potential for a slight risk upgrade, especially for damaging winds as we head into the day on Wednesday. Now, the biggest thing is, obviously, as we talked about in the winter outlook, we said you typically cannot get one without the other this time of year. Again, I want to harp this. The severe threat is low, but it's not zero.
Definitely.
We need the rain. It's not going to be a lot, but anything can help at this point.
Definitely. So first and foremost, guys, if this does go slight risk around midnight tonight, I'll have a live stream for you guys first thing in the morning, and then we'll kind of watch it throughout the day, kind of similar to what we do during a normal severe weather day across the board here. So if you end up missing this live stream or anything like that, don't fear. We'll have more information coming your way as we get towards tomorrow here. But I want to talk to you guys about the tornado risk here. Now, you're going to look at the tornado risk, and we had a 2% earlier on that got removed with the lunch update. However, I do believe that risk may end up coming back by the midnight update here. So that's why I've kind of kept the brief tornado as possible with this setup here. So we're talking potential large hail, damaging winds. We will have to watch for the power outage threat here. And I want to stress this now before we get the ball going. Damaging winds is just as popular as dealing with a tornado, okay? damaging winds can have winds equal to a weak tornado. This is going to be very crucial for tomorrow because we are in an extreme drought. The trees are very weak. So if we start getting 70, 80 mile per hour winds with these thunderstorms, they're going to produce power outages. So keep that in mind for tomorrow. Don't rely on just tornado warnings or anything like that. Treat those severe thunderstorm warnings as they are tornado warnings, okay? We're going to have to watch that for tomorrow because the trees are very weak and they're going to cause power outages, especially with those tree limbs falling. Yep. So keep that in mind for tomorrow. It shouldn't be a widespread event, but all it takes is just one. So flooding risk, obviously none, and it's for large hail. Right now, quarter-size hail will be the best call because it's a marginal risk. If it gets upgraded to a slight risk, we could potentially be talking about upwards to golf ball size hail with some of these storms here, okay? So speaking of which, let's go ahead and talk to you guys about the storms as we get towards tomorrow here, okay? So Derek, I'm gonna let you talk on this one here. I'll have the model where I just got running up.
All right, so basically, obviously, first thing in the morning, it is gonna be warm. It's gonna be humid.
Yep.
It's gonna be a whole lot different atmosphere than what we've seen over the past, really, several days. And as most of you know, most of the state has gone really over a month without a drop of rain. We've seen scattered showers here and there over the last 24 hours, but nothing to that extent. Now, as we go into the morning time tomorrow, so this is where we start to watch. There's going to be a line of storms that forms across the plains this evening and into the overnight hours. That is going to move east. Now, just because at this time frame you see not a lot of rain across much of the state. That's kind of expected. We don't expect much of this until the afternoon, evening hours, which is also peak severe weather time for basically 95% of the state.
Yeah, I agree. So this is going to be the extended time frame here. So you're talking, this is right around lunch, by the way, and you've got some scattered showers, thunderstorms. A few of these storms, by the way, first thing in the morning, may be severe. We may have some large hail, some damaging winds kind of deal with first thing in the morning as well for folks up here in northern Arkansas and northwestern Arkansas. So you guys will see it first thing in the morning. And then as we get towards the afternoon hours, look what happens. Okay, you go from around 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon here. Let me see if I can slow this down. And let's go hour by hour here. Okay, so you can see, here we are as we get towards tomorrow here. See if we can get this going. Okay, and then you can see the showers, thunderstorms really start getting going across southeastern Arkansas. So Elijah, I see your comment there. If you do me a favor, let me pull up Elijah's comment for me in the chat box here. Elijah, I see your comment here. So I saw the original SPC, and I saw we had a 2% potential towards. Do you think we'll have a chance of tornadoes for tomorrow? Tomorrow's risk for tornadoes is going to be localized. It's going to be very localized. It's going to very depend on what happens with tomorrow's run here. Now, if there were to be a tornado threat tomorrow, I would bet kind of similar to what we have the 2% from earlier on, Elijah. It will run kind of similar, just like this. Where you see this afternoon round, that's where your tornado risk is going to lie for tomorrow. And it's only going to be dependent on if these storms can be supercells instead of a line of storms. If you go line of storms for tomorrow here, it's going to be mainly a damaging wind threat. So I think that if there's going to be a slight risk for tomorrow, it's probably going to run just like this. That's where your slight risk is going to run for tomorrow. And it's going to be a damaging wind, and it's going to be a hail-driven slight risk. The tornado risk will probably come back as a 2%, but we'll have to wait and see on all that. I think it's just going to depend on what happens with that here. What's up? What you got?
Right. It should be fixed now.
What?
We had a momentary Facebook spaz out.
Okay.
And the entire, we lost the entire video. Like, it completely spazzed out. Everybody had the same issue.
Okay. All right. We should be good now.
All right. Are we good? Before we keep going, are we good now? So just
I think I know what happens. I pulled this tool up and it spazzed out the spring.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, all right, we're good.
Right.
We're good.
So we're good now.
Okay, all right, we're good. All right, so yeah, Elijah, that's what I was meaning about that. We'll have to wait and see what happens in terms of the tornado threat here. But I'm really concerned for the damaging winter, especially for our folks in Little Rock, down to Texarkana, El Dorado, southeast Arkansas, over towards eastern Arkansas. I think if there's going to be a slight risk, it's going to be through here. Across this area, we'll have to wait and see here. Derek, we got any more questions that you want?
Now, the biggest thing about this is that not everybody's going to see rain tomorrow.
Yeah.
I want to harp on this.
Definitely.
Especially if you live across parts of southwest Arkansas.
Yeah.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. This is where our drought is getting really severe. I don't see us getting a lot of rain in southwest Arkansas. Simply being is we do have a high pressure off to the southwest.
Yeah.
So what that means is that basically the most active part of this event tomorrow is going to be closer to where our low pressure to our north is. So basically your lift and your instability are going to be combining more, say, areas north and east of the 30, Highway 270 areas, and then of course north and east of Highway 82.
Yeah.
But that being said, guidance is still kind of hitting back and forth. That we will see a line of storms come through the state, and I fully expect a line of storms to come through at least parts of the state, and it's going to be where our greatest threat of instability and moisture meet the shear and the lift, and where that is, that remains to be seen. But as of now, the best threat is within the marginal risk.
Yeah.
But the greatest risk area could very well be across parts of central, eastern, and northeast Arkansas into southeast Arkansas as we go into the afternoon and evening hours on Wednesday. Again, isolated but possible.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on this. I mean, this is really increased with the latest 18Z run, Derek, here, and this is the Super Cell composite, by the way. But yeah, kind of pull your point, Elijah. I think if your slight risk is going to be kind of through here, and then what's going to happen is you're going to have a marginal that's going to go probably for the rest of the state, and that's gonna have for the morning round, and then you have your afternoon round through here. So just kind of keep that in mind. So before, if this goes slight risk tomorrow, then I will be here first thing tomorrow morning, and we'll have a live stream for you guys. So let me know in the comments. Will 8 o'clock in the morning work for everybody if it goes slight risk for tomorrow, so everybody can kind of tune in and see what's going on here? Just let me know in the comments if that'll work for everybody here. So we can go ahead and go to questions real fast here. If you can, I was saying, if you have any comments over here, if you have any questions, we can pull them up.
Not much. Yeah, we're gonna talk about other stuff as we go into next week. As we get there, first and foremost, obviously we want to talk about this, and this front as it moves through is not going to cool us down a lot.
Yeah,
it's going to be a very short-lived cool down. And the reason being is, as we go through Thursday and Friday, it's going to be windy. Yep. It's going to be really, really windy. This system will have a lot of wind with it as well.
Yeah, let's show the Euro real quick. Yeah, go ahead.
But as we transition to Saturday and Sunday, we have a stronger front that's going to come in. Right now, there's no severe weather risk. I think that might change.
Yeah,
I really think that might change as we get into Saturday afternoon and Sunday. Now, this stretch Saturday, Sunday could bring us a little bit better chance of rainfall than what we're going to see on Wednesday.
Yep.
And the reason being is you're going to have a quick return flow out of the Gulf of Mexico.
And you can see it real quick.
That's going to bring moisture back into the state. How much, again, that remains to be seen. But with trouble from Carl, we could be seeing the moisture surge out of the southwest as well as the Gulf of Mexico. As that moisture plume works its way north, as our front is coming south, we definitely could see an increase in moisture across the state as we head into Saturday and Sunday. Rain index are going up, and that's what we expect to see.
Yeah, and there's your pattern, by the way. You can see the cooler coming down, and there's your high pressure kind of centered off to the east, and that's going to return the flow back into Arkansas. So I think if you miss out on tomorrow, you'll have a better shot on Saturday across the year here. And I want to stress this too, because this is the Euro. I don't know if it still remained the same from 0Z last night. 0Z, if you're a model watcher, 0Z last night was pretty incredible with the cold air next week. But you can see what happens here, and look at this, the amount of cold air that just kind of sinks down into the eastern half of the country, which includes us here in Arkansas. So I don't take one model for granted. You don't want to go off of just one model. But if you go Euro next week, don't be shocked if you're talking 60s for highs and overnight lows and upper 30s, low 40s.
And right now, and what we're looking at is beyond this front coming through this upcoming weekend.
Yep.
So as we head into Sunday, we're going to be cool. Monday, cool. Tuesday, really from Monday into Tuesday is when we really notice a change in the air masses. We go from highs in the 60s and 70s to highs potentially in the 50s and 60s.
Yep.
With lows down in the 30s and 40s.
Yep.
Now, again, I want to stress it. We definitely are talking about a first frost for Northern Arkansas. This is the threat of this is going up. I wouldn't be shocked to see a freeze. I don't think we're quite there yet, but again, trends are heading that way to where we could see a first frost and freeze as we head into next week. Now, again, this brings me up to my next point, which I saw a question.
Yeah, and I was going to say, there's the European models temperatures. Euro's obviously our best friend. Euro obviously loves us. Temperatures in the 50s and 60s for highs. That's crazy. So,
now, Elijah, I want to stress this.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I'm going to let you that one.
Guidance is right now, we're approaching about the 10-day time frame of the guidance has been mainly GFS. It's always the GFS.
I was going to say that. Let's go.
That is trying to throw a few snowflakes out across parts of northern Arkansas. Don't buy it. It's way too soon. Now, the thing is, the cold air will be here. But the thing is, to get that type of setup in Arkansas, you got to have a snowpack to our north. We're not going to have that. That being said, I do think as we head through next week, our pattern gets really active.
Yep.
Also really cool. You're going to have a lot of those cool, chilly fall days, along with the crisp fall nights. And you're going to have at least a chance.
Yeah, I got to back it up to 12. Go ahead.
And you're going to have at least a chance of a few scattered showers, potentially a few scattered showers. Now again, I don't buy the winter weather threat. I do buy
There it is.
I do buy a rainfall risk.
Yeah, there it is, right there, 240.
And again, this is way long range.
Very long
Don't
range.
buy it.
Do not
it's
buy
not
this.
going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. So I just want to stress that, and that's the only thing we're going to harp on this is that it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's GFS doing
watchable.
GFS. Yeah, it's GFS doing
watchable.
GFS things.
It's watchable, but it's not going to happen.
Definitely.
The bigger story as we head through next week is going to be is definitely going to be the colder air.
Yep.
And the increased chances of rain, basically starting tomorrow here on out. Looking at the long range through the next 15 days, several chances of rain and storms as we head throughout the next 15 days.
Yep, I agree.
And the good thing is that after Saturday, I think we're talking less severe weather and more just rain, because you're not going to have a lot of chances to warm back up.
Yep, and I can take this out too. This is the 12Z. So yeah, so Elijah, kind of throw your point here. I kind of compared the GFS and the Euro. GFS is known to do this.
Yep.
GFS is notably GFS is doing this a little earlier this year than it normally does. But don't buy it. If you see those kind of maps, it's 10 days out. Don't buy it. Don't buy it, especially if it's GFS. Because GFS, let's put this in perspective. If GFS had its way, we would have had 2 canes come through Arkansas.
Yep.
We would have had multiple rounds of severe weather back in September. So you never want to buy the GFS just straight off of 10 days when it just has that. Now, if it was GFS and Euro and some of the other models suggesting that, I'd buy it. But if it's just that, I'm not worried about it right now here. But if Euro starts biting to that, we'll start talking. We'll have a conversation about it. But right now, the European model is saying no to that right now. Yep. So we'll leave with that.
The bigger story that I see over the next really
yeah, it is a nice thought. I saw that comment.
is rainfall. We desperately need rainfall right now. I think right now we are roughly 6 inches. We need 6 inches of rain just to get back to average, just to get soil moisture back to being out of a drought.
Yeah, Western Arkansas is even worse.
We need roughly 6 to 10 inches of rain. That's how far behind we are now. And unfortunately, there's not a 6-10 inch rainfall in the next 15 days. So we're gonna like we talked about in the winter outlook, we're gonna be chipping away bit by bit as we go throughout the next 15 to 20 days. Really throughout the next couple of months. It's not gonna be a all at once like we normally get in Arkansas. It is gonna be a chip away, very, 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 very a little bit at a time.
Yeah. Derek, do we have any questions in the comments real quick? So this is the time for the Q&A session, guys. If y'all have any questions about tomorrow, about Saturday, about next week, if something you want to talk about in terms of the weather, let us know in the comments. We'll get it pulled up for you guys on air. Right now, I said before, this is the rainfall totals per Euro, and Normally, the Euro's our best friend, but it's not. It's not. It doesn't have a lot of rainfall over the next 10 days here. Let's talk about the GFS here. And Elijah, I saw your comment about, we were talking about snow earlier. The 18Z backed off.
Yep.
That's why we tell you so much about because somebody will see that and post it on Facebook, and it'll get a lot of reactions. It'll go viral, and it don't happen. Okay, so that's the one more thing. Now, listen, if Euro starts biting on that, we'll talk. But 18Z literally just took that whole thing away, so it likely won't happen. So per the GFS. Rainfall totals, we're talking upwards to 1 inch, 2 inches of rainfall over the next 2 days. No, not 2 days, 10 days. The Euro, half an inch, upwards to 1 inch of rainfall, some locally higher amounts in some spots per day. So here, okay, this is one from our follower down there in Texas, here from Stacy. So do you guys think the storms can make it to Longview, Texas down there tomorrow? 20-30%. It's only because the ridge down there is killing y'all down there in Texas right now. We got to break that southwest ridge. We have to break it. I think that will happen as we get towards. We'll start making progress as we get towards Saturday, and then eventually next week and late month. But the southwest ridge is really killing on right now, and that southwest ridge, for those that are wondering, is the same ridge that brought the heat last month. It's finally moved back west, but it's just the presence is just there enough for Texas not to see anything. So it's going to be 20-30% down there. You may get lucky down there in Northeast Texas, but I don't think you're going to see a lot down there tomorrow in terms of rainfall here. Saturday may be a different story for our folks down there in Northeastern Texas here, but we always do appreciate your comments, Stacy. And if you have any more questions, let me know here, okay? So let me see here. James, I see one from Nash. So am I okay to fish on Sunday in Conway? I'm hoping on Sunday's weather changes. Let's talk about that real quick. Let's talk about the weekend. And let me back the GFS up all the way to Saturday here. So Saturday, before one front kind of moves to North Arkansas, kind of stalls out, moisture's increasing, instability's increasing. You will have to watch for severe weather as we get towards Saturday afternoon to Saturday evening. I think eventually, we're Tuesday right now. Wednesday tomorrow will be day 1. Friday will be day 3, so it'll be a day 4 risk. We'll have to wait and see what happens with all that, but I think you may see a risk come out for Saturday's event. And as you get towards Sunday, there may be some lingering showers. The GFS is kind of wanting to stretch this out all the way into Sunday here, so it'll kind of ruin that fishing trip if you go GFS here. The Euro, I believe, kind of dries things out for your Sunday time frame, so we can take the Euro out. It should be showing up here in just a second. But yeah, there's the Euro. Euro on Sunday kind of dries things out here in Central Arkansas. So we'll have to wait and see, but at least some cloud cover, maybe some scatter showers and storms will be possible for your day on Sunday. And I'm going to tell you this, if this doesn't get out of here quick, some highs on Sunday may struggle to get out of the 50s with cloud cover and rainfall kind of hanging around the area here. So we'll have to wait and see on all that. That was the 18Z. Let's back this up to the 12Z and show you guys what I was talking about here. So we'll take this out to Sunday and show you guys what I mean here. So a cloud cover kind of hanging around the area. Euro's wanting to bring us back up into the upper 60s, low 70s here. But if you have cloud cover kind of remaining across the board, don't be shocked if you don't get out of the 50s for hours in North Arkansas. So what about Southwest Arkansas for the rest of the week? You guys are in a marginal risk for potential seeing severe weather for tomorrow. Main threat, wind and hail. I can't rule out an isolated tornado down there either. Saturday and Sunday will be the best shot of seeing rainfall. So if you miss out tomorrow, your best shot will be Saturday and Sunday. Much colder air moves in. So get towards Sunday and the Monday of next week here. We could potentially be talking about statewide highs in the 50s and 60s, overnight lows in the upper 30s and 40s here.
So we head into the Tuesday and Wednesday time frame of next week. Again, confidence is high that we're going to see a frost across parts of northern Arkansas. Freeze, I'm not quite there yet. But
I saw his comment. So,
but I do believe that we will see our first legit frost, at least in northern Arkansas, potentially parts of the Ouachitas down into parts of central Arkansas as well.
There it is right there. Yeah.
Again,
that's Wednesday morning.
We're talking Tuesday night into Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
So we still have about a week to go, but we're going to be watching that closely. We first have to get through rain and storms tomorrow with the potential of a severe threat. We have to get through the potential of scattered showers on Saturday and Sunday. Maybe a severe threat. It's a wait and see.
Yep.
And to get to this part where we're talking about legit fall weather, almost a little bit of winter taste coming to the state as we head to next week.
Yeah,
now,
we can thank Michael for that because he's coming down, and he said he left Arkansas. Temperature's almost 100 and humid. He's coming back in the 60s here, so he's bringing the cooler with us.
One caveat to this.
Yeah.
This concerns me because you have these temperatures with guys trying to bring moisture in. All my years of studying this tells me that October is not unheard of. We had one of the earliest snows on record on Halloween a few years ago. Now, one thing you don't want is winter weather in October.
Yeah.
You don't want winter weather in October and November because typically, if you get it then, the law of averages says you don't get much in the winter here if it does that in October and November. So again, not expecting it, but it's something to watch. And of course, obviously, if we start seeing it, you'll be the first to know about it. But
definitely. And this is what I was talking about, Elijah. If you're still in this live stream, this is what I was talking about. Not next week. Temperatures if you go Euro's really wanting to bring the hammer down in terms of the cool weather. Temperatures in the 50s and 60s for highs. We're not lows in the 30s. And you go from summer to fall to winter just like that. If you go with the Euro, GFS obviously GFS is warm bias, which is not normal. But normally it's the other way around. Euro's warm bias, GFS is cold bias, but Euro is wanting to bring the cool weather here in Arkansas. Temperatures in the 50s and 60s, overnight lows in the 30s. Cheryl, I do agree. We're going to watch that Tuesday night and the Wednesday time frame really close. I do think that'll be your first shot of seeing some frost and freeze across the area here, especially in the higher elevations of North Arkansas. So just kind of monitor the forecast. We'll have that information up, and if you need to bring those plants in next week, you'll be the first to know about it. Derek, if you got any more comments, let's see here. So, okay, I have a question about the drought. If we keep having drought, it'll get worse. With the severe weather, get worse with this. So, I was talking to a good friend of mine, Michael. He's over there in the Arklatet's Weather Center here. And we were talking about that last night. We're talking about the relative humidity and stuff like that, how it has a big impact with severe weather. Well, the biggest thing right now here is we're in a drought. As you know, we need the extreme drought. So let's see what happens tomorrow in terms of severe threat, and we'll go from there. What happens tomorrow, we'll tell you, kind of give you kind of a foreshadow what happens later in the fall and into the winter here. So we'll go from there. We'll leave it with that. But right now, with your relative humidity being really low, it will help with your supercell development across the air here. So I'm excited about some cooler weather. We are too, especially if the Euro starts verifying here. Talking about temperature in the 50s and 60s, man. You may need to bring out those hoodies next week if you go with the European model across the air here. Okay, so will the frost potential come down into the river valley, and when is the average frost? I'm gonna let him take this one because he knows a little bit more about
Mr.
that than I do. Mr. Winter Weather back here.
Well, all right. So basically, for our River Valley folks, this is where things get kind of oddball. So if you live down in the River Valley, your temperature actually can stay warmer than your surrounding areas. We've seen this time and time again with winter weather in the state, where we rarely basically say areas like Russellville, who's down in the valley, we'll see temperatures in the 40s. But you go up to say Atkins, temperatures are in the upper 20s and low 30s. We see this time and time again.
Elevation.
We could see a frost in the River Valley. I do think your greater changes will be in the higher elevations there. But on average, your typical first frost is around mid to late October, so we're right on cue for that threat. But, and you can see it well, guidance shows the River Valley warmer.
Yeah, right here.
Very, very, very well. It depicts the warmer areas of the River Valley really, really well. And that right there tells me that, hey, could we see a frost there? Yes, but again, the greater chances will be higher elevations of northern and possibly parts of western Arkansas, areas around Mena, Rich Mountain, Magazine Mountain, places like that. So again, Could we see a frost there? Yes, it remains to be seen.
Yep.
But on average, we are getting really, really close.
Which is something, because it's like we're going from, remember last month, I mean, we were talking about temperatures in the 90s, we were still near 100 degrees. I mean, things can change real quick in a heartbeat. And Elijah, I'm going to take this one. Do you expect an enhanced risk tomorrow? No. There's a million reasons why you won't have an enhanced risk with this setup for tomorrow here. First and foremost, the majority of your upper level energy is up there in the northern plains. We are just getting, I don't want to say blessed because it's severe weather, but we need the rainfall. We're just getting lucky enough that we have enough energy that's going to make its way down in Arkansas and kind of tap into the instability and kind of end up with a severe threat. Some of your events in the past, I can make a lot of analog events you can compare this to, but I think this is going to be at the highest a slight risk. I don't think you get anything higher than a slight risk with this event here. Now Saturday's event, let's see what happens. I think you'll have a lot more energy to work with the Saturday's event with incoming colder air kind of clashing with the warm air coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. So we'll see what happens with that event, but tomorrow definitely no. At the highest with this one will be a slight risk with this one. I've seen, and he can tell you back here too, we've seen some slight risk overperform and enhance before. So keep that in mind for tomorrow here. Don't just, it's a slight risk, that major, and that's going to happen. I've seen some slight risk do some crazy stuff before here in Arkansas, so we'll watch it close for tomorrow.
So let's go back and look at our severe weather outlook again. All right, so once again, I want to stress this for everybody looking, everybody watching. Just because it's a moderate risk doesn't mean, I can go out and do whatever I want to do, let my guard down, not worry about it. It doesn't matter what the risk is. All it takes is one storm to screw everything up. We learned that in Jonesboro.
Yep.
We learned that in Mayflower. We've learned that even in the metro. We've learned that in Arkadelphia. I mean, every town I've named has had a significant one storm. Now, keep in mind, those were mostly spring, and they were mostly higher in events. Even then, we've seen a slight risk do crazy stuff. And we've seen these non-events last minute do crazy things. So again, we're in a drought. How tomorrow goes, like Cameron said, will determine how could depict on how things go. We are just now entering our secondary severe weather season, which on average tends to produce more severe weather events and more severe weather reports than in the spring.
Yep.
9 out of 10 times you'll get more severe reports from October 1st through December 31st than you will from March 1st all the way through the 1st of June.
Yeah.
So again,
and that happens, and we've seen that a lot last year. And we went from the spring, we had a lot of events, stuff like that, and then you guys remember what happened December 10th last year, 2021. We had the outbreak. So don't let your guard down just because of the margin risk, guys. We see this all the time. We'll have people not tune in days before, and then we'll get to the severe weather, and then they'll start bombarding us with a million questions here, guys. That's why we tell you guys in days in advance, so you don't have to worry about trying to figure it out on the day of across the board here. So
are we expecting outbreak?
No.
We're not expecting outbreak.
Not with this setup.
But with the wind energy surrounding this system, I would not be shocked to see a damaging wind event out of this. And like especially across areas from Jonesboro to Heber Springs, down to the metro, down to places like Camden and El Dorado.
Matter of fact,
west of that line, I think it's gonna be a lot more isolated in nature.
Yeah,
and of course, every guidance run coming in continues to show that.
Yeah, that's gonna be right through here,
favoring the eastern third of the state.
Yeah.
Again, this is also drought. This is what the drought does. It's storms form where the moisture is a little bit better.
Yeah.
And we've seen this in the plains.
I will say this. Derek, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're fine.
I will say this for tomorrow, perhaps. Do not be shocked, and I know this is a little bit overreaching. The 2% will definitely come back. I'm starting to see how guidance is, and you can see that real closely up there in Northeastern Arkansas. You see a little bit of red up here. Do not be shocked that 2% comes back. It comes roaring back into Arkansas for the next update here. Could it go 5%? That's gonna depend on what happens with the storm mode. Like Derek said, if it goes to a line quick, it's gonna be a damaging wind threat, which concerns me as well because the trees are super weak. But I'm watching that Northeastern Arkansas quarter a little bit closely because you guys are closer to the upper level energy that's in the plains. I see your question.
Yeah,
just tuned in.
What timing? Let's go back to our radar view.
Okay.
On this.
Our
future radar.
Yeah. 1 sec.
So let's go back and look at that just to give everybody an idea. So what timing this is.
Okay.
So this is our morning round.
Yeah, this is our morning round. So this is around 9 a.m.
This is where I'm watching closely because the morning round. Let's go. So
Yeah.
this morning round comes through.
That's 10, 11. This is lunch tomorrow.
Yeah. So this is lunch. One thing to notice is that you see a boundary coming out of it.
Yep.
At this point. This is where I think our potential could be there. Let's keep going.
All right. This is 1. There's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. There's 3, and then there's 4.
Notice something. You have a boundary left behind by the morning storms. This boundary, and this is the boundary we're going to have to watch for the potential with the increased lift and wind energy, along with the moisture, of where we could see a small area of greater forcing for severe weather. And again,
Yep. And then this is
it remains
5.
to be seen.
And this is what I mean here. So I will say, for those that are kind of watching, I'd say from Jonesboro to the Metro to Memphis, that I-30, 167 corridor, watch that close tomorrow. Like I said, if this goes slight risk and that 2% torque comes back, I will be live in the morning. So please make sure that I said for in the comments, if 8 o'clock works for you guys in the morning, let me know in the comments, guys, because if this goes slight risk, I will be live first thing in the morning, giving you guys the latest information
And
with this.
this
But
is
that
something
that
right
supercell right there is what I would watch very closely here. Go ahead.
This is something right here. This comment here tells me all I need to know. You're getting rain now. You're getting rain out. The moisture return coming out of the south.
Wow.
Can we go to our Doppler
Yeah,
radar?
I'll have to get it pulled
So
up.
this is something that we have been watching for. Your comments saying rainfall, because again, moisture return you have to have to even talk about rainfall.
Yeah.
You have to have moisture return. That's what we're getting. Your moisture return is a little bit more significant than what we were expecting. We were not expecting rain this evening. So
Give me a second.
this
I'm
is
gonna
where
get it pulled up.
this is where things could get even a little bit more interesting. Could we have a lot of rainfall that counteracts the severe threat? Could we? There's a lot of different things that are going to go into this that guys is currently not picking up yet. This is what we call a nowcast type of thing, where the day of is a lot of valuable information because it changes so frequently throughout the day. Again, we're not expecting an outbreak, not expecting anything major, but this right here is one of the biggest things to me that I see on the radar is rainfall coming back.
Yeah.
And
a lot of this is not reaching the ground, by the way. A lot of this is not reaching the ground on here in Western Arkansas, per reports. But definitely, I can see that, and I don't think it's going to wash out tomorrow's event.
No.
By any stretch of the matter, because what's going on right now here, dew points this morning and into the afternoon were very, very low. Basically, what this is doing is helping get the environment ready. This is what we've talked about back in 2015, 2016, 2017. You have these events come in, they'll help moisten up the environment, and then you'll have the severe threat. So you have to watch that close. But if you see rainfall this evening, congrats. Great. We love to hear it. But unfortunately, Beth, I saw that Drew County's had not even enough to get the ground wet. That's bad, guys. That tells you everything you need to know
and again, a lot
about
of
the
reports
drought.
are not reaching the ground. We're still just a little bit dry.
Yep.
But just a touch.
I'm gonna pull up some comments real quickly here, and then we're gonna end this real fast here. Debbie, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you guys for being here as well. Yep. Thank you for the update here. Let me see here. Okay, so 8 o'clock is perfect. So as I said before, guys, if a slight risk gets issued tomorrow morning, in the midnight update, I will be here first thing in the morning. Let me see here. Okay, so what about? Okay, so about tomorrow, I got a bad feeling about tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be an outbreak. I want to kind of, I want to, yeah, I want to kind of ease some tension here with this. I don't think it's going to be an outbreak. The problem is, if you get one storm, all it takes is just one. That's all it takes. I can't tell you how many times we've seen this back in the summer. We have this isolated storm come through, tap into the environment, and you get downburst wind, you get 70-mile-per-hour winds. So it's not going to be an outbreak by any stretch of the matter. Could be slight risk worthy, definitely. I do think per the HLR, I do think it's slight risk worthy. But I do not think it's going to be anything of major significance. So I want to stress that right now because I know what's going to happen tomorrow. We're going to break in the live stream, and it's going to be a tornado warning. Everybody's going to be freaking out, trying to figure out what's going on. I want to stress you guys so much. We're not expecting an outbreak of severe weather. Okay, it's not going to happen tomorrow. Could there be isolated severe weather? Yes. I've seen severe weather events overperform before, but I do not think it's going to be an outbreak of severe weather. Also, thank you for the reports. Just got a little bit of coming in the Arkadelphia area. If you guys are seeing rainfall, let me know in the comments as well here. Thank you guys for that as well. Okay, sprinkling in Callow. Do appreciate that. If you see rainfall, great guys, because we need it. It's not going to be enough to get rid of the drought, but we need the rainfall across the area here. Okay, so Northeastern Arkansas. Dustin, I saw that comment, the Jonesboro 2020. If you can pull this comment real quick, I'm going to talk about that. And then we're going to head off of here, guys, because I think we've gone over all the information. Jonesboro 2020, that system, it's somewhat reminiscent to this one. I'd hate making comparisons to previous events, but it's somewhat reminiscent to that because the energy is further to the north, like it was with the 2020 event. And the energy is just touching down in Arkansas. The biggest thing with this setup, you don't have a lot of low-level energy with this. Could there be one cell that goes up and does some crazy stuff? Obviously. We'll have to wait and see. I do think this is slight risk-worthy. Right now, I think this is more of a damaging wind concern versus a tornado concern. And I'm really harping the damaging wind concern because of the fact that the trees are so weak. And it will not take much for those tree limbs to fall. That's why we're harping so much about that. So, could there be a tornado warning or two tomorrow? We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll be ready if that happens. That's the biggest thing.
The biggest thing is if we start seeing a major damaging wind event going on, we will go live.
Definitely. Yeah, that's it.
Because that's just bad and it affects a lot of people in a longer area. Will we have live cut-ins throughout the evening tomorrow? Yes. Will we? Now, if there's nothing at all, obviously we won't. But again, the biggest thing is, it's been a while since we talked about any kind of weather, and we're talking about severe weather and rainfall in the same day. It's Arkansas. It happens.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is just to remember, know where your safe place is, just in case. Know how to basically tune in if you need to. Know your county. Know your city.
Please.
Know where you live. Know the counties to your west. Know the counties to your south. Know the counties to your north. Because that will help you in the event we do get a lot of warnings tomorrow. If you get placed under a watch, definitely start to adhere because watches mean that conditions are favorable for severe weather.
And I think if there were to be the watch tomorrow, it'd be a severe thunderstorm watch right out of the gate. Because the setup just doesn't scream tornado. It just doesn't scream. It didn't scream tornado. Could there be an isolated cell that goes bonkers?
Yeah.
We'll see. But tomorrow's setup doesn't scream tornadoes. It screams damaging winds, and that's the biggest thing I'm concerned about with that here. Okay, so I think that's it for all the comments here. Jay, I hope I didn't butcher that name. I appreciate that comment, by the way. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. So I'll just put it that way here, guys. Okay, so Arkansas weather needs its meds too. I agree. No comment on that one. We're already talking about cold air and all this other stuff in October. It's like, it needs some meds. And we've gone from this state goes from one extreme to the other.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's it. Step forward, kind of reiterate, slight risk gets issued at midnight tonight. I will be live first thing tomorrow morning going over everything. He will be joining me tomorrow evening for live coverage. We'll have a chaser out tomorrow as well. We have our other forecasters going to be helping us out tomorrow as well. Tomorrow, I want to stress to you guys, everybody that's sitting down eating dinner right now, don't stress too much about tomorrow. It's going to be a localized event. It's going to be, you know, a couple of severe thunderstorms get going and stuff like that. Nothing to worry about. We're not expecting an outbreak by any stretch of the matter. But I want you guys to know that we will be here and we will be ready.
Yep.
Okay? Warning gets issued. We'll be the first one live. We got a chaser out tomorrow. We're going to be ready to go. So if anything happens, we'll be here. Michael?
No.
Yes. Bring the snow, buddy. Bring the snow.
Not now.
Just not now. Wait a month and then bring the
months.
snow.
Too much.
Don't listen to
But
him
anyway, we thank you for joining
Yeah.
us. We thank you for trusting us each and every day since 2014. It's crazy to believe that we are a little over a month away from 8 years of doing this on a regular basis. It's hard to believe.
It's crazy, dude.
8
It's
years,
crazy.
and you know the sky is the limit, no pun intended. And you know, with that, we thank you for joining us and trust us as we heading into the fall season. Be sure to stay tuned right here on your source
For all things
Arkansas weather.